Right, no big surprise
here. We had already had indications that, yes, Samsung were going to say that the batteries were the key issue behind the overheating Note 7 smartphones, and some of them actually going on to actually catch fire and create a hazard for consumers. So we've heard from Samsung Electronics now saying in a statement that faulty batteries did trigger the Note 7 fires, and saying that they're going to strengthen battery safety. The head of the mobile division for Samsung apologized over the Note 7 issue. And
Ross, actually, we've got some pictures that's coming. These are live images of actually the company itself making this announcement and saying, you know, telling us all about what did trigger these fires off here.
Yes, and hopefully we're going to get a lot more details about the exact issue that may have been behind the faulty batteries. Now, last year, there was a US Consumer Safety Agency which had said that the problem was that batteries made by Samsung SDI were slightly too big and pinched when inserted in the phone, which had caused the phones to overheat. Now, we're probably going to find out a lot more today from this investigation, exactly as to what, if that was the reason behind it, and exactly, you know, what the issues were in the batteries. Critics at the time said that part of the issue was that Samsung had rushed to get its Note 7 out before Apple had made its product launch at the end of last year. So that may have contributed to perhaps the problems with the batteries.
Right. Well, I mean, it does, though, surprisingly seem that the overall Samsung business is holding up pretty well, though.
Well, yes, because Samsung does a lot more than make consumer electronics. Of course, this is what it's best known for to many people, but it has a very successful and, in fact, very strong at the moment chip division that's doing very well, and that's driven by demand for smartphones, especially by Chinese handset makers as well. So that's doing particularly well. It had its fourth quarter earnings guidance earlier in January, where we saw that it's posting its biggest operating profits in 3 years in the last quarter at $7.8 billion, which, of course, beat analyst estimates, and that's despite the issues with this Samsung Note 7 phone. And the best performer, many analysts think, will be the chip division on the back of stronger prices. We're actually going to have a lot more details out in its fourth quarter earnings release, which is out, in fact, tomorrow, 24th of January. So we'll see a bit more in terms of how the divisions break down and what divisions, how they performed. But, of course, consumer electronics probably not performing as well as some of the others for Samsung Electronics.
Actually, you know, those live images we just had coming from Seoul was actually the head of product there, and he's just apparently just apologized for this whole, well, I guess, crisis, if you will. So, of course, we're monitoring any further headlines as and when we do get them for